The war rages on. Ukrainian military officials are focused on protecting their homeland and driving all Russian forces from their country. I sat down with Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksii Reznikov to talk about how they're fighting back and what they need to win. Do you believe that the Russians are still intent on trying to capture Kyiv?
It's a nightmare or crazy idea in the Kremlin, because who control capital, control country. But on this moment, I cannot to see the reality of this plan, because you know that Kyiv is a city with 4 million of population. It's a lot of people. How to occupy
How do you
that?
take a place like that?
It's impossible.
What is causing you the most concern now? Where are the flashpoints?
We see that they have 2 places of concentration of their armed forces in the east, especially in the Bakhmut direction and Kupiansk, and also in the south, closely to the Zaporizhia direction.
Will the tanks get here in time? The Russians seem to be pushing right now.
If we are talking about their offensive, not. Because we need time for our tank cruisers to be prepared with the training courses.
Which has been the most critical weapon on the battlefield so far for you?
Artillery.
Artillery.
Artillery still, because it's a war, so you will not have enough, and we need ammunition. The second priority is air defense systems, sure, but we need more to cover the sky, not only in Kyiv, but in Odessa, in Kharkiv, in Dnipro, in Lviv, the biggest cities in Ukraine.
There are people in the United States who are saying this is a lot of money. Are we just lengthening this war? Your argument to them and to anybody who might be saying, we've got to stop doing this. This is just escalating it and prolonging the war.
We can finish this war in Ukraine. We cannot allow Russians to be in the Baltic countries or in the Poland, because it's NATO countries. And we can reduce the power of Russians in the battlefield in Ukraine. It means that it will give the NATO countries the chance to live in peace.
We keep worrying about escalating in Putin. We figure, at what point is he going to say, I'm not going to stand this? It is a dangerous thing to humiliate President Putin on the battlefield.
Every time when I hear the next step of or level of escalation, I ask my counterparts, what the next level you want? They killed our civilians, our children, they ruined our infrastructure, they killed people in Dnipro using the missile against the air carrier ship. You saw the massive graves in Bucha, in Stomil, in Kupiansk or Balaklia. What next level of escalation should be?
Powerful words from the defense minister, and candid. He was very open to us, and you heard what he said. They need artillery, they need ammunition, and they need it now. Lana?
On that line, Charlie, your question about lengthening the war, was there a sense from him that the U.S. needed to do more to help Ukraine end the war on their terms?
Well, you know, ending the war, people ask me all the time, I ask others here in Ukraine, you know, when does this come to an end? And really the better question is, how does it come to an end? We are here at a stalemate in terms of President Putin saying that Russia will not be defeated, the Ukrainians saying that they will not quit until all of Ukraine is taken over, including Crimea. Well, that puts us at a difficult and dangerous situation where the weapons will be coming in from the United States and allies. There will be more troops and equipment flowing in from Russia. And as it gets warmer here in the spring, they will be fighting along that front line in the east, as you heard Mr. Reznikov say, along Kupiansk, where we went to, where they're already fighting, in Kherson and Zaporizhia. We know these places now because there have been so many bombardments going on there and military aggressions on both sides. It hasn't moved in many places more than 400 or 500 yards a day. Bakhmut, as we know, is just getting pummeled. But this is what we're going to be looking at. It is grinding. And when those tanks get here, that will change the battlefield significantly. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a decisive change on the battlefield. So there's no knowing where this is going to go, except the longer it goes on, the more people are going to suffer.
Yeah, and it's already been a year. I remember, Charlie, us having conversations at the very beginning of Russia's invasion. How different the country looks now. I'm struck in seeing these images and remembering what the country looked like at the very beginning of this war, right before the war. You've been there so frequently during the course of this 1 year. How have you seen the country change, and what stayed the same?
Well, Lana, I remember when you and I were talking in the first few hours of the invasion, and there were thousands of people who were rushing to the train station trying to get out of here. We have to remember 18 million people have been displaced. A lot of them have come back. But at the time, we looked at Kyiv as if it was going to fall within 96 hours, the entire country within a number of weeks. And there was a real panic on the ground. Out here in Kyiv, you may be able to hear some of the traffic going by. Shops are open. Some of the restaurants are open, some of the hotels are open. At the time, there was this great mass exodus. So along certain areas where missiles are still falling, we had an air raid siren this morning, something that was intercepted out of the sky. We're certainly worried about the next 24 hours in case Russia wants to mark this invasion or the 1-year anniversary of the invasion in any meaningful, significant way. But as you get a little bit closer to places like Kharkiv out in the east and Kupiansk, where we've been, Kherson, which is supposedly under, Ukrainian control, it's still getting whacked. And the reason it's getting hit is because it's still within range, not just of Russian rockets and cruise missiles that can hit anywhere in the country, but Russian artillery. And that is where, when we talk to local commanders, they say we need the artillery, we need the ammunition to push everybody back. So yes, at the time, a year ago today, the entire country looked like a war zone, and it is in a way, but in terms of the fighting itself, the Ukrainians have been capable of pushing the Russians outside of Kyiv and away from Kyiv, so the capital is no longer under threat. That doesn't mean that fight is over, but it has largely been contained to the east around the Donbass region. That's where the intensity continues, but nobody is expecting this is going to be over soon. And, I spoke to Mayor Klitschko, and he said Kyiv itself is within the sights of President Putin. He wants to take over the country, and he's not going to quit.
Yeah.
Lana?
All right, Charlie D'Agata, thank you.